Hey, remember this ride when I went to Appomattox and almost suffered from heat exhaustion? Let's talk about what I could have done better and what I'll do to avoid this in the future. Let's roll. All right, we are in the winter time here in Virginia, and I'm looking back at last year's rides and thinking about some that I want to do in this new year of 2025. And I was thinking about the ride I took to Appomattox, Virginia. I went back and looked at the footage of that ride and was thinking, now, what happened there? So if you didn't see that video, it's still on my site. And I took a ride from the Richmond, Virginia area, roughly, to Appomattox. And it was a warm to hot day. Now, everything's relative. I used to live out west where it would be 115 degrees with the dry heat. But I didn't ride motorcycles then yet. But here in Virginia, it does get very humid. And I went back and looked at the weather from that day. That trip to Appomattox was during August 2024. And I went back and looked at the weather from that date. From what I could tell, using the best research I could find, it was roughly around a 92 to a 95 degree day. The humidity looked to be around 70 to 80%, depending upon which sites I checked. Along the way on the ride there, I didn't feel really bad at all. Was cruising along, made a video. I did stop for water a couple of times. I had a single water bottle in my saddlebag on that trip. But when I got to Appomattox, I started off the bike, walking up the hill, and immediately was not feeling so good. In the video of the ride, I actually shared some comments. Let's take a look back at what I said. So I'm not sure in this motorcycle, even mesh pants, how long I'm going to be walking today. I think I'm going to drift back and get my fluids. It's too hot. So guys, it is so hot out here. I think it's now about 92 degrees with humidity. And I'm wearing motorcycle mesh pants and boots. And I didn't bring a change of clothes. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be out here very long. But I'm afraid it's going to be too hot because I'm already feeling a bit exhausted out here. I'm burning up. So guys, I hate to admit this, but I don't think I can keep going. My bottom half is burning up. And my heart is racing a little bit. And I don't have any change of clothes. So I think I'm going to be walking back. So my heart was racing. My face looked like I was developing some sort of rash. And what you didn't see off camera was I filled and refilled my individual water bottle, and I chugged it. I'm embarrassed to say I was chugging those things. I was actually pouring it all over my head, trying to cool down, poured it on my shirt. I did that a number of times. I don't even remember how many, maybe 8 to 10 different swigs of full bottle and pouring it on my face. Even though I walked around Appomattox a little bit, I didn't stay nearly as long. And part of it was when I'd gotten off the bike, I was wearing the same clothes I rode in on, except I had stowed away my jacket. But I had on my riding pants, which includes the riding gear of knee protection and hip protection were in those pants. They were mesh pants. And riding boots, which are very comfortable to walk in, but they were hot, and that was it. So I had put my helmet and my jacket away, and man, I was suffering the effects really quick. When I decided to leave Appomattox, which again wasn't long, it was, that's a rural area, and I was riding my motorcycle, and there's really nowhere to stop easily on the side of the road. It's just 2-lane country roads, and you're pulling into someone's driveway. And there was a fast food restaurant. I knew that it was about 35 minutes away, I think it was. And it was like a McDonald's. And I ended up stopping there. But along the way from Appomattox back to that McDonald's, man, I remember I was feeling a little bit like lightheaded, a little bit of a headache, and just didn't feel right. And I had water that I was sipping. I didn't have a cup holder on my motorcycle. Didn't have anything up front with me, so if I wanted to drink more water, I had to stop. Looking back, I should have put that in the jacket pocket or something, but I didn't. So let's look at what could have done better now that we've set the table. So by the way, this is just my list. I've been upfront that I'm a newer rider, and I got to go back and figure out the years. I think it's been about 3 to 3.5 years, but I feel like I've been saying that all year long. So at some point it's moved into 4. But, you know, and I've ridden a bunch of miles. I rode the Indian Springfield, which I bought the day after Christmas in 2023. And by the end of 2024, I think I'd put about 13,000 miles on that bike. And that's on top of what I put on the Indian Super Chief in that time. And I've ridden them probably about, I don't know, 7,000 or 8,000 miles each year that I've been riding. By no means am I an expert on what I'm about to talk about. In fact, one of the risks of posting YouTube videos is everybody wants to tell you how stupid you are and what they know better. And how come you didn't know that? Many people give the impression they came out of the womb knowing how to ride motorcycles. Anyhow, I've read a bunch on this topic. I've just looked at my own decisions and made some decisions about what I could have done better. I've watched other YouTube videos, read forum posts. There's a lot of info out there, but I'm going to summarize some of what I think I could have done better and what I'll do next time. And these will be in no particular order. Well, it was a 90-degree day, plus the humidity. And option 1 would have been, don't go riding at all. There's that option, but that's not the option I want to pursue. Okay, but some of you might. Maybe there is a temperature where most of us say it's too cold to ride. And for some of you, I'm sure there's this temperature when it's too hot to ride. But in that case, I don't want to go for that option. I'd like to be able to figure out what can I do to do better next time so I can ride on those days and feel a little more comfortable. So we'll look at it from that angle, that avoidance is not an option. Another option was to have left earlier in the morning. Now, my recollection on that ride, and I'm going to go back and look at the timestamps. I kind of forgot to do that before I started making this video out here in the woods on my property, is that, you know, I probably left around 11 a.m. or so to noon, which put me out there at probably 2 in the afternoon or so. And it was hot. It's at the peak of the day. Next time, you know, I'd probably time it where I'm leaving, you know, maybe, you know, at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. That way I'm getting in a lot of riding when it's cooler. That seems to be kind of an easy thing to keep in mind the next time I'll be riding when it's hot and humid. Okay, so that's one. Leave earlier. Another thing I would mention is walking up those hills at Appomattox. You can't quite tell, but it was a pretty good incline going in. It would have helped if I was in better shape. I've been pretty upfront that I had lost 53 pounds when I moved back to Virginia. Kept it off for a number of years. And I got Lyme disease that went undiagnosed for a while, and I gained pretty much all of that weight back. And it has stayed. So one of my goals is to increasingly start working on this topic to get in a little better shape. That'll help the riding, but also off the bike. And I've got another goal that I want to get back into mountain biking. I did that for many years when I was in a lot better shape and enjoyed it. And that's on the wish list. So you got to have something to shoot for. And that's another thing that will help all of your riding, is to get in better shape for it. You use a ton of muscles when you're riding the motorcycle in general. So being in shape on the bike, off the bike would be helpful. So that's another item. Next up on my list is to drink more water. This has been something I've been trying to do off the bike in general. Not drink so many sodas, knocked out the adult beverages for the most part, and trying to drink more water in general and while on the bike. I had a single water bottle, and you know, it wasn't enough for that day in that weather. And so next time I'm gonna pack either more water bottles, or, you know, when I was mountain biking, I wore a Camelback all the time when I was mountain biking. And honestly, I'd never considered it for motorcycling. And I think that's going to change for hotter days, especially. That wasn't even a super long ride, hour and a half, 2 hours. I think I was from Appomattox or so. But clearly I needed more fluids. So I would consider one of those Camelback devices and, you know, sip some water going down the road. So that's another idea. And along with that, I'm not so sure on my Springfield that I'll do this, but I'm thinking about getting a larger touring bike at some point where I would install a cup holder. I always looked at those as kind of odd, especially if you're wearing a full face helmet. And I'm still kind of in this camp. I mostly have been wearing a modular helmet, And sometimes I've been wearing my showy full face. But with the modular helmet, you know, you can flip it up, get some water at a stoplight or a stop sign, rather than having to get off the bike, take off all your gear, you know, gloves off, just to have it right there and have a cup holder. So I might do that in the future. So that's another item. I am not a doctor, so you do you. But I did read that some people, to avoid cramping in their muscles, will do a little salt inside the water and take that in, and that will help with cramping. So that's just something to keep in mind as well with this idea of water. On the clothing topic, I tend to wear riding pants that have hip and knee armor. During the winter, I'm wearing a base layer underneath that. On the top, it's usually just some sort of t-shirt with a riding jacket that has elbow, shoulder, and back protection in most of my jackets. And riding boots and the full face modular helmet. Pretty much when I've been out riding, I've never carried a change of clothes unless I was spending the night. So wherever I've gone, I've been wearing that outfit minus the jacket and the helmet. And I don't think I can keep doing that, especially in that hotter weather. I did post a question on some discussion forums and was kind of surprised there wasn't more options that people had, to be honest. One guy had a post that, and I'm still not sure if this was a joke or not, because it was pretty funny, some of the comments that it led to, but one guy said he wore shorts and would wear leather chaps when he was on the bike. And he just removed the chaps when he stopped, and he wore shorts otherwise. I don't know. Other people told me that they wore shorts underneath their riding pants, and when they got where they were going, they would remove their riding pants and have the shorts underneath. Then what do you do for footwear? These same people commented that they would remove their boots and they brought back up flip-flops or sandals that they would wear. So I like these ideas. I think that, you know, as I was looking at Appomattox, they might have had a bathroom there down near the entrance, but most places may not. So you might be walking a good distance looking for a place to change. So having something underneath sounds like a good idea to me. So if you're going to do this option of wearing, say, shorts underneath your riding pants, one, do you need to buy different size pants to accommodate for that, or can you make it fit? But also, where are you going to put all this stuff when you get off the bike? I carry a lot of stuff in both of my saddlebags already. One side of it is mainly maintenance stuff I might need on the road with a couple other things, and the other side's more like cameras and drone stuff. So to put in a pair of boots, the jacket, and the riding pants, and stuff them all in there, I've already had kind of a challenge just doing the jacket alone. And I bought a little helmet lock to put it on the seat. So I'm kind of kicking around whether I'll have to redo kind of my structure to find a way. They do make jacket locks where you can run it through and lock it up, maybe with your helmet too. I don't know. I haven't flushed this all out about how I'm going to approach this, but clearly I need to dress for the weather once I'm at my destination. So that's another idea, is have a change of clothes once you're off the bike. Now on the riding clothes, some of you may be screaming at me right now saying, I should have been wearing less clothes on the bike. Shed those layers. Well, that makes sense when the temperatures are, you know, roughly 90 degrees and below is what I have found in my research, is that having a mesh jacket with air coming through it, mesh pants, that can be helpful. But after a certain temperature, you don't want to expose more of your skin to the hot air. I guess it would be actually when the outdoor temperature is warmer than your body temperature. How that factors in with humidity, I'm still going to look at that some more. But basically, it just boils down to physics, is that if you're taking on air that is hotter than you, it's not going to cool you down. It's actually going to have the reverse effect of heating you up. So you actually want to be enclosed inside and protected, much like, you know, if you're out fishing for the day and you wear a long sleeve shirt when you're in the sun, it's to protect you, to keep you cool. It's kind of the same theory on the motorcycle, that people might think that, hey, I'm going to just wear t-shirts and shorts and cruise down the road in this hot weather and I'll be cool. And actually, no. In addition to getting sunburnt, you're actually going to be hotter a lot faster versus kind of keeping everything protected. So I felt kind of comfortable on the bike. One of the things that surprised me with my mesh pants is how heavy they feel compared to my other riding pants that have knee and hip protection in them. Also, when it comes to the clothing you're wearing going down the road and trying to stay cool, the neck is a big area for motorcyclists that's exposed. And in my research, I was finding recommendations to protect that neck. Put something around it, a neck gaiter or something, yes, in the hot weather, to keep the body cool so that it's not getting this hot air. And again, this applies more when the outside temperature is above your body temperature. Below this, you wouldn't do the same thing. And if you live out, I lived out west for a while. If you live in Nevada, Arizona sort of range, and you're out riding all the time in those hot summers, kind of put your pointers down in the comments about how you guys look at this and how you do it. I wasn't riding back then when I lived out there out west. So if you got other ideas, put them down there. Another idea you'll see come up on the clothing topic while you're out riding on hot days is evaporative vest, or they make them for the neck as well. I've never tried these, but I have researched them and I'm considering them for next riding season. Basically, the idea with the vest is you fill it up with water, put it on, and as you're going down the road, the wind against it creates this cooling effect on your body. Again, they make them for the neck or the vest. I think I'm going to put that on my list to add to the next riding season for these really hot days to kind of help cool down. And then one more topic on the clothing is to wear lighter color clothing. My mesh pants were black. The jackets I own, depending on which one, they're red. I think I've got a high-vis yellow one. Black is a common color in these things, but now I've got like a khaki color one. So that's something else. I don't know how much that helps on a hot day like that, but every little bit helps if you're looking to not absorb as much heat, is to wear lighter color clothing. So I've covered some ideas from leaving earlier to wearing a change of clothes once I get to my destination, drinking more water, getting in better shape. I'm sure you've got other ideas or specific product ideas that might fit in under these things. So feel free to leave them in the comments. Hope some of this has helped. And with the upcoming riding season, I hope to put some of these into action as I reflect on what I could have done better on that ride at Appomattox where I almost surrendered. All right, see you on the road.